This is a tutorial to show you, the CTC, how to use the Common Sense Media website and the important parts to take to the schools you work with and sell the idea of why we need to use this or materials like it for the SIPA requirements and how to set this up as a curriculum within your school district. So let's get started. First of all, you need to set up an account. And the reason you need to do that is you cannot download anything unless you have an account. So I've already signed in. It's all free, so it's no big deal there. So we're going to get started. Let's head for the educators. And the first spot I want to go to is digital citizenship. Now in the digital citizenship page, we see a lot of different materials. We're going to come back to some of these, but I'd like to start with the scope and sequence. So here we go. In the scope and sequence, these are where our lessons are. And we have these little images here, icons, that show what each lesson's about. So when we look down here at grades K through 2, we see that this lesson is about internet safety. This lesson is about information literacy. This lesson actually covers two areas, creative credit and copyright, and also information literacy. So in each of the grade bands, there are 4, grades K through 2, grades 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. In each of those, in K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8, there are 3 units made up of 5 lessons in each unit. In grades 9 through 12, there are 4 units, with each unit made up of 5 lessons. There's also, and as we can see, you see the different lesson names here, screen out the mean using keywords, sites I like. But I want to also show you the library at the bottom because these are additional lessons. For grades 3 through 5, there are 5 more additional lessons that brings them to a total of 20 lessons. And in 6 through 8, there are 10 more lessons available, which brings them to a total of 25 lessons possible. So this is where all the lessons are. This is a scope and sequence. Let's take a look at what one lesson looks like. And I'm going to go into the grades 6 through 8 band and choose $1 trillion footprint. Now, in this lesson, we see on this page the learning overview, materials needed, and then it breaks the lesson into parts: introduction, teach 1, teach 2, and closing. It also shows the alignment to Common Core and to ISTE nets and the vocabulary. Off to the side in this lesson, we also see that there are 2 videos to show and some family resources to give out too. Now what I recommend though is, because I've signed in, is to download the materials. You can download the materials like this. You can also download the videos. And the reason I think that's the best thing is to do that ahead of time is if all of a sudden the network was being fidgety and you were having problems streaming, well, if you've downloaded it, you won't have that problem. So I think the best way is download everything. The other reason is what happens if, even though they're a nonprofit organization, what happens if Common Sense Media disappears? Well, we would still have the materials, so we can still continue to use them. So here's the download and what it looks like. Again, you see the standards, the vocabulary, the learning objectives, the lesson overview, materials needed in preparation, and family resources needed. And then it gets into the lessons. Now each of the lessons gives you everything you need, from what you're going to ask, what are you going to explain, when to show a video, defining the keyword, vocabulary words. And we move through each of the lessons. At the end, you also have extension activities and at-home activities. And down at the bottom, you see the handouts that are possible to be used, that are to be used in these lessons. So as you can see, everything is there in a lesson to use It's just a matter of pulling it out and setting up and getting started. So that's what each lesson looks like. Not all lessons have videos or handouts. That varies depending on the lessons. The next thing I'd like to point out, I'm going back to the educator page, digital citizenship, and I'd like to go farther down and point out ways of assessing. One of the things that SIPA requires is that you have to show that you've done the lessons. And what Common Sense Media has provided is they have 3 ways, but the newest way they have is a unit assessment. And here it's an online assessment that the students would take for each unit, and then they would email the results to the teacher or whoever is in charge of collecting and archiving the results to satisfy the SIPA requirements of showing that you've done the lessons. So this is a great unit assessment. Remember, each unit is made up of 5 lessons, and then you have the unit assessment. And again, the students also, it's great because they get to practice doing things online. Another thing available, again, is the digital passport. This is for grades 3 through 5. Now, what the digital passport is, you have to, again, it's all free, but you have to set up an account for it. And a teacher can put in their own students and set up the group, or a student can set up their own account by themselves. But in it, they have games and videos and other things to expand their understanding of the materials. They also have a section on educating families. And in that, you have an outreach kit that you can get. They also have advice videos for parents and family tip sheets, and this is where you would find all of these materials to send home, because remember, the internet is new, and parents have not had the training on how to help their child, and so here we have the materials to help them understand and work with their children on the materials in this curriculum. So that gives you an overall of the important areas that you need to go to. Take a look around. There are other things, but those are the main points to take as a CTC in going to the principal, the administrators, and showing them the importance of why they need to do it, and then helping them as a support in setting up the curriculum, and then standing as support to the teachers who will be doing the teaching. This ends this tutorial.